Welcome to At the Vanguard. We're TB Vanguard, and our motto is for fans by fans. We showcase fans on the front line of the Team Breezy movement. This podcast is an open forum to discuss current topics as they relate to Chris Brown and his fan base.
So how's it been?
Good. I mean, these past couple of days were interesting.
Yeah, they were. You know what? That's
Shocking.
a good word for it. Shocking?
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
Oh, you mean the song or the reaction?
Well, just everything the reaction to the
Yeah.
release of the song.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're all going to have something to say about that.
hmm
And today, I think it was like number 8. Somebody posted it was number 8 on iTunes.
Really?
In Australia. I was like, yeah. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
Somebody was saying that they know that, like, they're hoping that because of the negative feedback, it becomes number 1, and
Right.
it probably will.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna flock to it now because they're like, oh, what's so bad about it? I want to
Right.
hear it. So
Right.
it happened.
But it's really good. That's really fun. Like, I don't like trap music, but that beat is undeniable. I mean, you don't
No,
want
the beat is so. I like the song,
yeah.
and I was like so confused. I'm like, why is everybody? I'm like, am I missing something? Like, like I didn't understand why everyone was tripping.
It was crazy. And especially, they acted like he'd given up his seat on the throne or something. They was
Yeah,
like,
taking it too far.
yeah, they was like, okay.
I think part of the problem is that nobody heard the song because unless you had Apple Music or because it hadn't even gotten to Spotify, it hadn't even gotten to Amazon
Right.
yet. So everybody was going by the title and who the featured artists are, and they went nuts because even in the DMs, people were saying, well, I haven't heard it, but they already hated it.
Right.
And then when you hear it, Chris is barely on it. Yeah, there's auto-tune, but that's that kind of music that he did.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's just an overreaction. Because again, remember, unless you had Apple Music, you couldn't even hear it in advance. So they're just tripping.
Right. I was like, people are doing way too much over this one song. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that serious.
I mean, I saw things like, oh, he could have been the next Michael Jackson. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about?
Right. What are you saying?
He gave up his seat. He's like, oh my God, that was so crazy.
Yeah. I was so, and I felt bad because I'm like, people need to understand that he's gonna see these comments when you post under
Right.
when you post comments under his post. So yeah, he's gonna feel some type of way about it because you're talking about something that he does for a living and you're
Right.
criticizing it so rudely. And I was like, go ahead, Chris, keep posting the pills and automobiles. I thought he was so shady, but it was so funny. He kept posting pills and automobiles on Instagram. I'm like, go ahead, Chris, do it.
Right.
Promote yourself. You know?
And then people were like, oh, it's good. When
Yeah,
they finally heard
really.
it. Like,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, that's how it works. You actually have to hear the song to know whether you like it.
Mhm.
It's a rule. It was funny.
Yeah, I was so confused because I didn't hear it at first, and so I was scrolling through my timeline, and I'm like, people were just so negative,
Right.
and I'm like, it made me feel some type of way about it, and I didn't even hear it yet.
Right.
I'm like, is it that bad? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Then I finally listened to it. I'm like, it's not even bad. I don't know what they're talking about.
And it's a club banger. Again,
Yeah.
unless they have Apple Music. And see, that's why we did the poll we did. And actually, maybe we should stop and reset because we're talking about stuff we're going to be talking about later. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, let's
Hi,
just
someone else
stop
has
and do a
joined us.
reset.
Excuse me. Okay. Someone else has joined us. Hi, who's there?
Sade.
Oh, hi, Sade.
Hi, Sade.
I don't know why your name isn't showing up today on the on my roster. So you're caller number 1. So I'm just gonna let you know what we're trying to do so that we don't overtalk each other, even though we just did it a second ago. And I just got a message from the app. And what we're going to try to do is, you see the little chat box? When we're ready to speak or, talk on the subject, then we want to have everyone put 2 question marks in the chat box.
Okay. Oh, that's much more organized.
Yeah,
And the way we're going to go about it, though, is that you have to click on Paula, since she's the organizer. And I tested it out with my phone. So you click on her mic button, then that opens up the chat box. And you might want to just go ahead and keep it open so that you can just go ahead and put the question marks in when you're ready to ask a question.
Okay.
Well, I don't see any extra people. It's like 12:13. Do you want to make a few more minutes before we officially start, or go on with it? Because we're already starting to talk about.
No, we're gonna. Here's what we're gonna do, Paula. Even though you're the organizer, I'm gonna be your time clock keeper.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give everybody. We're gonna do maybe 2 more minutes. We'll start at 9:15 my time. But in the meantime, if everybody on the phone right now would go into the chat box and just do the question marks or just make a comment so that Paula can make sure that she can see information coming from you guys.
Okay. Okay, I just saw Sin. Just saw D.
Hold on, it's being weird. Oh my. Hold on.
Okay. Sade, how do you spell your name? Is it S-A-D-E?
Yes, like the singer.
Okay. That's just a note to myself, so I know if we have any more callers. Okay. Oh, okay. There's your name. Now there's a new caller. Hi, caller. Do you want to identify yourself? Hello. Sade, did you? I see that you have your name, and did you think the other one is still you that I'm looking at?
It might be. Let me see if I can clear it. Let me see.
Okay. Okay, that was you. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll see other people as they join in. Periodically, we're going to just stop and let new people know the process to be able to join the conversation, which is to add the 2 question marks in the chat box. So I'm going to go ahead, if you don't mind, Paula, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Go ahead.
So first and foremost, I just want to welcome everybody to this is our 8th podcast, right, Paula?
Number 8.
And we're pretty excited about this one because there's a lot of activity that happened this week, and we sent out 3 poll questions to kind of kick off the discussion for today. one of the poll questions was about the overwhelming response that Chris received for his documentary over in the UK. The other one was that Chris had indicated that his album was completed and that he was waiting for RCA to release it. And in the meantime, as a topic under there is the release of Pills and Automobiles. We'll talk about that. And then finally, one of the things that we all need to kind of think about is the streaming of his album and making sure that we understand that streaming is very important this time, and that if you purchase the album, that's great. You don't want to keep listening to it. You want to actually go back into a music service and stream it from there to make sure that the numbers increase. So we'll kind of talk about the poll that we did and people's preferences on which service provider they're going to be using for streaming. So let me go ahead and turn this over to you, Paula.
Okay. Well, if anybody wants to start, giving their opinion, the first, wait a minute. Anybody can just put in the question mark if they're ready to give their opinion. Let us know.
Well, how about if we do this? We'll first start off with the poll questions and we'll go through it that way, just so that when you edit and you'll have it nice and neat. How about that, Paula?
That would be very helpful. That would be great. Okay, so
well, let me kick it off and let you have the poll results, Paula, in front of you.
I don't.
Okay. So the first poll question we did was regarding Chris having Welcome to My Life basically premiere in the UK. And we had a lot of people who were excited and were overwhelmed by the documentary. So we asked the question, what was the most surprising thing that Chris revealed? 50% said his side of the 2009 incident was what they were most surprised about. 23% said that he wanted to marry young. 19% said his childhood traumas. And then 8% we asked them to share their thoughts on the movie. There were a couple of people that we invited from the UK to attend the podcast. I don't know if there was a disconnect on the time zones. So we're hoping that they're going to join later because we did send them the link to join the podcast. But let's just open it really quickly to everyone. Did everybody see the love that Chris got from the people retweeting their ticket stubs?
Yes. I think everybody felt like the same way as like the fans in the US. It was great. I was really happy for him to be able to have his movie shown overseas in the UK. And I'm glad that they liked it too.
Yeah, the love that the UK gave him was actually not really surprising because they do like really love him over there. I think the first night sold out really fast. They had to add like multiple dates for like Friday, and a lot of people went to that one too. I did see a lot of like I went into the Welcome to My Life hashtag, and their response was exactly what I thought it would have been. Just like how it was here, they loved it. I'm excited. Doesn't it come out on DVD in a few days, right?
Yeah, I think so. August 8th.
Yes, August 8th will be the release date for iTunes and Amazon. And I actually have a copy reserved from each because I'm still old school and I like hard copy. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that since it comes out next week, people back in the States will get an opportunity to look at it because, a lot of the fans were the ones who saw it when it was premiering here. But everybody else needs to see that documentary, and I'm hoping with the release of it, maybe Chris will have it on HBO or Showtime or some type of cable channel, so the people who can't purchase it or won't purchase it will be able to see his story and understand some of the things that he went through and, what he plans on doing in the future. That's what I'm hoping for.
See, that's what I wanted from the beginning. So, because I felt that over everything, I felt like more people needed to see it. He's not hurting for money or anything. So it's not about money. It's about telling his side and telling his full story. So it's still not really the full story. It's a lot that we could hear about, but I just felt like more people needed to see it. Rather than, of course, the fans first and foremost, but then the rest of the world. So I hope he does do that. I hope he does go to, to the internet, or at least to either a streaming service like Netflix or HBO, something like that.
Yeah.
One other thing I just wanted to say is that with it being, released over here for people to purchase, I think it really is just a matter of time before Chris puts it either maybe on VET or maybe VH1, because that's the next step. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that it's more like a cable available documentary, which I'm pretty sure BET would love to have it and to show it every 2 hours like they do all their other shows. No disrespect to BET though.
Well, that's the advantage. And they can show it as much as they show Takers. Yeah. Which is every week. Not complaining about that.
We can go on to the next topic, but if anyone from the UK joins us and they wanted to give us their insight, we'll just ask them to put the question marks into the comment box so that we can stop and get their perspective on what was going on.
Sounds good.
Okay, now let's get to the good stuff. The second poll question that we put out there was that Chris had said on his Instagram that he completed his 40 album, Heartbreak on a Full Moon, and that it was in RCA Records hands to release it. And he kind of made a comment that, there was a delay and some miscommunication. So the poll question asked, did people think that RCA had a promo plan in place, and what was the feedback from the fans? Well, 41% went with that hashtag that we put up that said #free Heartbreak of the Full Moon now. 41% said that. You kind of knew that was the feel that everybody had.
Yeah.
29% told Team Breezy to be patient. 19% said that they think that RCA has a major promo plan in place. And then 11% said, meanwhile, let's go ahead and keep streaming privacy. I guess I could have put Pills and Automobiles in there too, because we could stream both of those songs while we wait. But we'll talk about, first of all, what do you guys think about the delay of it? And then, of course, we'll head right into Pills and Automobiles. So what do you guys think about the delay of the album?
Sade, you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The delay of the album, I kind of figured was going to happen. One, that's a really big project. 40 songs is basically, 2-3 albums worth of material. So I think RCA wants to go about marketing it right before they put it out. Because yes, we live in right now, the era is streaming. Everything is digital streaming, listening to it. And I think they want to make sure that it gets its just due of streams as well as digital downloads, especially, and then like the physical copies. Because this is really like Chris's biggest project he's ever put out, like as far as like body of work. He's given us, 35 song mixtapes, but that's for free. This is something that they put money into, and I'm sure Chris put his money into it, that they want to make sure that they get equal enough and they balance out the budget just right. I just hope that whenever the release date is official that they don't have said delays with like links and stuff because the rollout for pills and automobiles was cringy a little bit. It was a lot going on. A lot of links wasn't working. Then the song got pulled from iTunes and they put it back up. It was just, I just hope that their marketing and rollout is perfect for it. And if they have a big marketing plan behind it, I'll wait. I got all the time in the world.
So
Hi, we have a new caller. Hi, Tammy.
Yes, Tammy, how are you?
Oh, we missed you. How you doing?
Okay, and yourself?
Okay. We've been trying to organize a little bit and not talk over each other like we do normally do. So what we've been trying to do is mute when we're not talking and then put a couple of question marks in. But so far there were only a few of us. We thought we'd have a few more people today. But we're just trying to be a little more organized this time. But that's the only difference. We're still in the same mode. We just talked about impressions of what happened of the UK reaction to the documentary, and we've kind of moved on to the RCA delays and what we think about the delays. Okay. And
so if you have a question, just go ahead and put 2 question marks into the chat box. And I think you were about to go to Sin, weren't you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sin, you were talking. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sade was talking. I'm sorry. Sade was just... Oh, you finished. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Sin.
I was just going to say that I think that I said this maybe the last podcast we did. I think it's good for anticipation purposes. I feel like it's good to kind of have people left in the dark a little bit. But since he was saying under his Instagram post that like they're delaying, I don't think it was a good thing. Like the way he was like saying it, I don't think it was in a good way. So hopefully they can straighten things out and things can get rolling a little bit better, because I think that RCA is a little bit behind. That's what it seems. That's what it appears to be like. So
I'll tell you what I thought. Paula, I thought he was maybe trying to force their hand a little bit by doing that. Like, I don't know, but it seemed like he was just sort of not telling them what to do, but sort of trying to make them get a move on.
right.
Because he's impatient too, just like we are.
But I'm willing to wait. I've said this many times before. I'm willing to wait because I want him to be content with whatever he plans to put out. Like, I want him to feel like, wow, I really did this and I'm super proud of it and I'm ready for everybody to hear it. I think it's finished. I think it's ready. I don't want him to feel like he's rushing it, because you can't go back from something like this. This is huge.
Right.
Like this 40 songs, like you don't want to mess up with this. So whatever time he needs, he should take that.
I totally agree. Anybody else?
Tammy, did you want to say something, Tammy?
Oh, no, I'm just listening.
Now that's a first. Just teasing. But you know what? We didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had something I wanted to say. I kind of think Chris does that to maybe push RCA's hands. We know he has a good relationship with them, but he also gets the fans all excited. And when we see that, we're like, what? Free that album. And that's building excitement. And I think he does that because right after he did that, he released the song, Pills and Automobiles. So Chris is impatient, and that's one of the things that he probably needs to kind of work on. But when he tells us stuff like that, he gets us as a fan base super excited and wanting music. And then right then that same day, he go ahead and release a new song. So I think he kind of built that excitement and that anticipation with the fans by saying that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying too, because yeah, he got everybody riled up and worked up. But one thing I was about to say to Sade, and Tammy, you're both New Yorkers, and I wanted to introduce you for the last few weeks, and so Tammy meet Sade,
Yes.
Tammy, fellow New Yorkers.
Hello, Sharon.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
That's great. What part of New York are you in?
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Okay. Yeah, that was where I was born and raised. I'm in Queens now.
I was saying I'm happy that it's another New Yorker. I was like, because next time the next tour come around, I have someone to go to with, outside of just my friends that like him.
Right. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Even though I forced my friends to come, so.
I don't know. All my friends love him. I don't have to force nobody to go with me.
Well, one of my friends like him. She's grown on him. Yeah. So I always get her to come because she likes him too, but just not like me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I have some friends that I'm trying to make them come around. They're coming around slowly, but it'll happen one day. I know. He has that magic, I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he just has that, They'll feel it one day.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Why don't we go ahead and just talk about what we had to stop earlier, which was Chris stopped the single pills and automobiles, and we're gonna put the question marks in only because we might be editing things later. So everybody all that. I'm just gonna throw this out here because I'm in California, right? And I know Chris looks at our stuff and everything, but we were the ones who said just last week and delete all that, right? Delete all that. And he comes back and he posted too, so we know he listens to our podcast. We know he sees what we're doing. So
how do you put the question mark?
In the chat box.
So all you have to do is just
okay.
Yeah, click on Paula's mic and then put 2 question marks in, and she can say.
You see it?
Yeah,
I'm
test it out
clicking on
what? Yeah.
Which chat? And the one that says everyone, or do you click specifically on Paula?
Yeah, click on Paula on the mic and then question marks in.
Is that
She
the
should
Team
say.
Breezy Vanguard 8? Is that the one? Or is it something?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so now we could talk about, since Cindy Chris, talking about earlier, let's go ahead and go right into everybody's opinion on the rollout and on those in automobiles.
Should I start it or I don't know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I was saying earlier was I thought people were going overboard with the negative comments, like basically almost near like ranting about how much they disliked the song. And I didn't hear it at first, but when I did eventually hear it, I was so confused because I'm like, I don't understand what the problem is. I'm like, am I hearing something wrong? Or because I actually liked the song, I didn't think it was bad. So I was just really confused, like, what are they talking about? I didn't think it was that bad. So yeah, I don't know what was going on with that.
I think here's what happened in my opinion. We did a poll to see what streaming service people use, and we know that the only one who had that song available was Apple Music. And we know a lot of people don't subscribe to Apple Music. They do YouTube or they do Spotify or whatever. And I think the title of the song put people off. And I think they thought it was going to be trap music, and then they looked at who the featured artists are, and they hated it. Oh, Kodak is trash. Oh, so-and-so's trash. And I think that's what they thought at first, because there's no way they could have heard that song that quickly, because it wasn't available on Spotify and it wasn't available on Amazon until a little bit later on. So I think it was the reaction to the title of the song and also who the featured artists are. But you know, me personally, when I finally heard the song, that's a club banger right there. That's a club banger, period. And Chris isn't like predominantly all over the song. And yeah, there's auto-tune, but that's that type of song. It's a trap song. So I think people were just ranting and they didn't really hear the song. And all it did was create even more hype because now everybody wanted to hear how bad it was. And then once they heard it, they're saying this song isn't even the best song.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
At first I didn't like the song because I feel, off of privacy, and then all of the songs that's on YouTube, none of them are really like that. So I think everybody was in the mindset of the songs that he posted on YouTube. They were pretty much a lot of love songs or pop songs, and it wasn't really trap music or with artists or features with artists like Kodak Black and A Boogie. So I think that first of all threw everybody off, and that was my issue with it. So I'm like, and then a lot of people think of Chris as this super celebrity, and they really don't want him to do collabs with A Boogie and Kodak Black. They're like, you're gonna do, they feel like he should be doing features with probably Drake or something like that. But of course, they don't get along. But those type of artists, so they have an issue with that too. But for me, I don't like Kodak Black at all because I don't like the comments he's made in the past. And my cousins, they love A Boogie. He's from New York, Bronx, New York. He was at the party tour, and he's a really good rapper. I like him out of anybody else my cousins play. I would listen to A Boogie because he came out really good. But another thing too, Chris friends, a lot of his associates and friends, a lot of his Tiger's a rapper, 50 Cent's a rapper, everybody who's a rapper, Henderson, Cat G, Fabulous. So he likes that kind of music. That's what they play in the club. If you ever see him out in the club, they're playing trap music. So, of course, he wants to, get into that. And besides, he might try and expand his fan base. I'm trying different things. And he's never been, conformed to any one thing. He did R&B, pop, he does EDM. So now he wants to try it. And besides, that's where the industry is going. Like, mostly everybody does trap music now. It's not even rapping no more. It's trapping. So,
right.
I just understand it, and just let him go. Just let him do his thing. Trust him on what he wants to do.
Okay. Hi, we have a new caller. Do you want to identify yourself?
Yes, I'm on the line. It's
hi.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing? Hello.
You probably can't hear me.
A little bit. Little scratchy. Who is this? Oh,
yes, this is CM. No, CM. Can you hear me?
Oh, CM. Oh,
Celeb
Ministry. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can hear you.
I was trying to get out of the space. There's a lot of noise in there.
Okay. I'm just going to put your name in so I can see who you are.
I was trying to hear what you guys, like where you were, like what were you talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about the song Pills and Automobiles and people's reaction to it. Or what we thought was an overreaction to it. Say your name.
Okay.
Say your name. Just say CM, and then I know you're ready to talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what did you think about the song Pills and Automobiles?
Well, when I seen the title, I was like, oh boy. You know what I'm saying? That was my first reaction. Because, for me, in 05, I came in right when Run It dropped, and I seen him, and so I'm more of the pop R&B, more R&B type Chris. So I like to hear him rap on certain things, or have that, but like this, I'm just really not my thing. Like pills and automobiles, and I know that's what's going on right now and all that, but it's just not me. But I still buy everything the boy drops, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, I get it, but I'm just not. It's not my cup of tea. My thing is, I went back and tried to think of the last ballad that Chris dropped as a single, not as it was just on the album, but I'm talking about something he promoted heavily, and I can't even remember what it was. I can't remember a ballad. I'm trying to think of the last just song with him, no features, where he was just singing. It seems to me like I know on Royalty he had a couple of songs, but I'm talking about a single that was promoted by the record label, that was promoted by him, that was, you know what I mean? And I'm having a hard time with that. So for me, that's what I'm waiting for. So, like when I see this, it won't be something that I'm going to be hyping up all over every, my page or stuff like that. But I bought it. I did buy it. I bought it, and that was it. Like for me, so I just feel like he walked away completely from when it comes to the singles. I'm not talking about overall, but just the singles. Like I feel like it's all gonna be up tempo. We're just gonna see him dancing and doing his thing, and being Chris, whatever. But I don't know if he want to give us anything vulnerable, anything that's gonna touch somebody and have them, like, oh my goodness, this boy is singing this song. Like pick up that microphone and go, like, I wish Make Love could have been one, but he didn't want to do that one. I would have settled for Proof, anything, something where he's just singing, and, but I do love Privacy. Don't get it twisted. I love Privacy. I'm still streaming Privacy right now on my computer as I'm out, but I don't know. This right here, I think what gets me is the fact that it's a single. Like, these are the singles. And that's the part that I'm kind of, but that's the
understand. Sade, you had wanted to say something?
Yeah. Basically, I agree with CM. My initial reaction to the song, I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna show. I bought it twice because the song had got pulled from iTunes last night. It was really weird. I don't know. Some weird thing happened where the song was 99 cents. Then it was climbing up on US iTunes. It was like in almost the top 100, and then they snatched it and took it off Apple Music, and then they replaced it, and it's $1.29 now, and it's doing what it's doing. But whatever. Me personally, I didn't like the song. I'm still trying to listen to it and like it. I love A Boogie. He's from New York. I like his music. Yo Gotti, he puts out a banger. He's somebody I don't really listen to, but if he drops a single, if I like it, I'll download it. I don't like Kodak Black. But I'm trying. The beat is fire. I won't lie. The beat to that song is fire. I feel like Chris really isn't on the song that much. It's like he do his one and done verse, and then you don't hear him for the rest of the song unless until he do that little weird thing with the auto-tune. I think he said, "I just want to change your life." Like, you don't really hear him throughout the song, which is kind of weird. But I support it. I bought it twice. Whatever. I think, I don't know. Maybe a lot of people say that it was RCA's doing with picking that single, and I think maybe it was him. I don't know who really picked the single. I think if it was the labels doing, they used that as a single because of those three people are doing really well on Billboard right now. So I think they probably want to push that to get everybody's fan base to, buy the song, and then it'll do really well. I know that song is gonna bang in the clubs and it's gonna do what it do on the radio. But I feel like is he gonna put Grass and Green on the album? Because from his Instagram post, it looked like Grass and Green might be on the album because it's like he's counting that the sales of Grass and Green are going to go towards the single sales from Heartbreak on the Full Moon. I don't know. I kind of, I wasn't one of those people that was like in his comments going crazy, but I'm not crazy for the song. I support it. I'll listen to it. I'm trying to like it better. Maybe if the video come out, I'll like it better. I don't know, but it's not a hit or miss for me. But I'm pretty sure that the people who like that type of music is going to make it, do really well. I have faith in that second single because I know what that song is. So I know that that's going to make up for me not liking this one. So he still got my money twice. So I'm going to support anything he put out, but it's enough for me.
Cammy?
Oh, Tammy?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead and go.
I just wanted to say, Heartbreak on the Full Moon is going to be 40 songs. So I guess he wants to be, have a little bit of everything on the album. Not just all ballads or R&B. And also, like I said, Chris he's a type of artist that's very versatile. So he wants to do that. I told y'all he hangs out with a lot of rappers and he likes their music. So he wants to do that, and that's going to be something that he's going to be doing because he likes the music. I don't think this song is bad. I think it actually is kind of catchy if you hear it a couple of times. And also with buying the song title, Apple have a lot of subscriptions, and a lot of free subscriptions for like 3 months. It's better to for the album if a lot of people can start subscribing, because once you buy it off of Apple or wherever buy it, Amazon Music, Apple, etc., you can't stream the song, and it's better if you can continuously stream the song, so it's better to subscribe. But I like the song now. I've heard it a couple of times, and I like that he's versatile and doing different music for other people, because if you're going to have 40 songs on your album, you have to have different kind of music, so other people could want to buy it and listen to it.
Okay, Sin?
Oh, I was just going to go off of what Sade and CM were saying about the title of the song. When I first saw the title of the song, I was also skeptical. I was like, oh no, he's probably going to be talking about things that, different types of narcotics and drugs that I've probably never even heard of. It just has like a bad connotation. And I was like, I don't know about this. But it wasn't really as explicit as I thought it was going to be based off of the title. It's still explicit, but not as explicit as the title might make it out to be. And if RCA is responsible for choosing the single, I think that they need somebody else to be on his team in terms of rolling out this album, because I don't think this was the right fit to go forth with promoting the album. I think they could have chosen another song, but the song is not bad. I just think that there are other singles that would have been a better fit to help to promote the album.
D?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with everybody, but I also think that this was a single that RCA picked. And the reason I think that is because, like everybody said, Kodak Black, Lil Gotti, A Boogie, they're all hot and they're all out performing in summer tours right now. And with this song, and Chris barely is on the song, they're basically trying to tap into those fan bases, because if they love that song and it's Chris's song, they're going to probably be listening to Chris's album when it comes out. But RCA need to get it together, because if that's what they're trying to do and they're trying to cross, the fan bases so that Chris can get exposure to those fan bases, be more professional on the rollout. It looked like a third grader rolled all that stuff out and pulled all that stuff back, and then like they were saying just a little while ago, it was out there for 99 cents. Then they pull it off of Apple, iTunes, and now it's $1.29, which is what it should have been. Like, what the heck's going on? RCA need to get it together. You know what I mean?
CM?
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. Here's the thing. This is how I always look at things. First of all, know your artist. You got to know your artist, and you got to know their core base first and foremost. Because in rolling out his album, you may be trying to grab other genres of fan bases, but you still got to keep in mind his core base. Sometimes I think they take his core base for granted, right? Because they know if he just hum on the song, you know, most of the fan bases, yeah, hey, Chris on the song, I'm gonna go this and that. But they're not getting even a little bit of what they want. When I hear Heartbreak on a Full Moon, when he began to talk about this album, he began to say things like, he was liking all this bringing 90s R&B type music back, stuff like that. We all understand who Chris is. We know he's not just an R&B artist. We know he can do so many things. We all know this. But the core value, the core of the fan base, it did come from R&B music from the very beginning. So you can't just throw all of that out because you think they're not buying or that genre is whatever you're thinking. You feed the core first, and then you keep going out. When I'm thinking about Heartbreak on a Full Moon, I think about the stuff that Chris has been saying, you know, what he's been saying about the album and the type of music he's making. We pop up on Instagram and he do those songs. They're not trap. They're not, all that stuff. A lot of it that he's showing us is R&B, is popish type sound. So that's what my mind is doing. It's like, we're about to get some Chris Brown here. Some of it you still can dance to. Some of it he's going to sing. But you can hear his heart in it. You can hear, what he's really possessing. And when I'm listening to like Pills and Automobiles and I just count, like Post and Delete, I get that all day. That's him. We all call him the king of delete, things like that. But then you come with Pills and Automobiles and I'm like, well, first of all, I barely hear him. Where is he at on the song? Oh, there he is. Oh, now he's gone. So it's just, I think when we're defending it, we keep saying things like, he's so versatile. We know that, right? We know it. But RCA, you can't just dump his fan base over here while you're trying to pull, from somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe you're trying to get that whole rap fan base, over into Christian's world. But I just don't think this is the single that you pick on rolling out the title, rolling out an album called Heartbreak on a Full Moon. That's just,
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
agree.
just my thoughts on this.
But that might also explain why they delayed it, because this is not the single you used to roll out the album. But they're trying to do all this cross fan base stuff, and again, so they're just trying to use Chris as a baby cash cow, trust and believe, because they're trying to recoup something. So that's why the album is probably delayed, because this single was coming out on RCA's insistence, and now they got to do a reset and put out the next single, which is a true Chris Brown single, and then roll the album out. They're trying to just milk as much as they can from Chris while they can, because they probably think Chris is not going to be with them much longer.
I mean, he
I
doesn't
really
need,
wish he would be. No,
he
go ahead.
doesn't need to be. Oh, sorry. He doesn't need to be anyway, because pretty much he finances pretty much all of his stuff anyway to begin with. Anything that when it's like down to videos, he pays. He said that he pays for some of the stuff, so he can really do it on his own if he really wanted to. I don't know how much RCA is really involved. I know he has like a 50-50 deal with them, but I honestly think that he can take it and do it on his own. He's like qualified enough and well established to, kick off his career, or not kick it off, but just branch off and do his own thing without the help of a label.
I don't know until I see a video. If there's a video for Pills and Fortune, I think Christian wanted that song. I don't think it was RCA that wanted to put that song on. I think it was Chris, and maybe RCA didn't want him to put it out. But I'm not sure. But if there's a video for that song and we get it soon, like really soon, because he said one video was done already. So I'm just wondering if that's the video for Pills and Automobiles, because if it is, then Chris wanted that song because he's already worked on a video for it. But for some reason, I believe it's Chris, not RCA, that wanted this song, and maybe it's actually the other way around, because that's why it was a disconnect, and it was put on iTunes and then pulled off. But that's not a Team Breezy song. And I don't think it was intended for Team Breezy, which is why he's putting out 2 singles. He put out that one for other fan bases. The second single will be a Team Breezy song. And that's because he's adding something else to his rap sheet, and that is going to be trap. He's going to be doing that kind of music because he likes it. That's what they play in the clubs, and he always goes to the clubs. That's what his peers are doing, and that's what's trending right now. And if you're going to survive in the industry and music, you can't fade out. You have to be able to tap into the younger generation and what they're doing, and that's what he's doing. That's what they listen to. That's what they're streaming. That's what's playing in the club. You know, that's what's going on right now. So if he doesn't want to fade out and flop, then you have to, you know, be versatile and be able to get into other genres of music, and that's what he's doing. So the second single is a Team Breezy song. The first one was not for us, and that's why he's not on it as much.
Okay, Sade.
With that, because now that I think about it, I do feel like because of the way that the rollout for the single was, it was all over the place, and then it got pulled, then it was unavailable in the U.S. for many, many hours. I think it was the label who didn't want the song to be released, but Chris probably was like, forcing him, like, I want this song out. The video that he shot a couple days ago was not for this song. It's for the second single. And I think that's going to be the big single that crossover. I heard a snippet of it, and I'm pretty sure it probably came across your timeline. And so, because the impatient fans are posting it, even if people from his team has said take it down, they do not want it down on the internet for clearly reasons why he doesn't want nobody to hear the song. He probably wants to do the single video rollout at the same time like he did with Party, because he probably knows that that's the one that's crossover. It has crossover still, I heard. So I know that song is probably, I think when he did the 2 singles thing, he was doing one for the urban market and then one that was going to do, you know, having a crossover, you know, pop, you know, thing. I just kind of wish that if he was on the song more. I feel like he's the feature on the song, because you literally hear him once and then you hear him no more. And it's kind of like, dang, it should have been Yo Gotti, A Boogie, Kodak featuring Chris Brown, because he seems more so like the feature than the feature. But, you know, I mean, I have a gut feeling, because a lot of people felt the same way about Party. They was like, oh, what is this? This is, you know, a club song. This is not anything. And then look what happened with Party. It blew up. It went platinum. The video is have over 150 million views. YouTube. I kind of think, you know, Chris does follow the wave, even though he has his own style, and, you know, people ride his wave. But he's always going to go with what's hot, what's fresh. And he always said that he's always going to, you know, take from what's in, but not copy nobody. I just personally felt like that song should have came out second. Maybe he should have released the song that has the video that he shot for it already. Did that and waited and then put this one out. I feel like, considering that Pills and Automobiles came out first and it kind of had a reaction from people, it kind of left like a sour taste, because what CM said is right. When you think of the album title, you think R&B, and I have seen him like comments in, you know, his comments on Instagram that said you need to chill out. The fans that were like, you know, being rude in his comments, need to chill out, because the majority of the album is R&B. I guess he's just putting the songs that he know will get radio play and will do well out as singles, because gimmicky stuff sells faster than that real songs, songs that have meaning for it. I mean, Chris is gonna do what Chris is gonna do. All we can do is sit there and support. I mean, the song isn't horrible. It's not like, oh my god, my ears are bleeding, but it's something that I guess you would have to listen to more than 10 times. If that's not your thing, if that's not your thing, you have to constantly listen to it. Maybe I feel like a visual will make me like the song more.
Okay, so
Right.
I agree 1,000% with you, CM and Sade. I'm definitely R&B. I actually came in from, not from the beginning, but from him singing Otis Redding in the movie. So I really was the R&B fan who came in, and I sort of adjusted, or not adjusted, but I really came to love the varied kinds of music he's done. That said, before, when I first heard the name of it, I had the same reaction you all did, of like, ew, Pills and Automobiles. But when I heard it, I immediately liked it. And I like all kinds of music. I do like all kinds of music, I do. But that beat is crazy. And also these challenges that have been done. We posted a couple of them. The one that I like the most is not even getting that much attention. The little girl who put herself in like this little cartoon thing, and she's dancing like crazy. Seeing people dance to it, I think it could be up there with Loyal. And if you remember, we hated Loyal with every fiber of our being when that song came out. And to date, and that's the truth. Yeah. But to date, that is his biggest song, which is crazy to think that's his biggest song, but it is. And I mean, you think over, like Fine China, which I kind of resented Loyal, because I felt Fine China should have been like that, but it is what it is. But this could be up there with Loyal, I think. When I hear that beat and when I see people dance to it, especially people who can really dance, oh yeah, I think it's going to be a big hit. So even though we don't necessarily like that genre, and I definitely don't like some of the artists on it, but he knows how to get a hit. And remember, we were just saying last week that Snoop Dogg was saying, worry about the hit. I think that's what he's doing. He's making sure that there's a hit, but he has the substance on the album. And I do agree. I would love to have one of his beautiful ballads, or, those be a hit, because Make Love was just, it gave you chills. When I heard him live, I couldn't believe he actually did it live. I was so pleased. But it doesn't sell. I mean, you just have to be realistic and realize it just doesn't sell. I don't know why, but the people who love that genre are not buying. So, I mean, he has to be a businessman first, but he's still giving us, in the body of his work, beautiful music. It's just that it's just unfortunate that the masses aren't hearing that music. Okay, D?
You gotta stream it. I mean, whatever song. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I hear that all the time, and the problem is, whatever song you like, you have to really support it, and you have to encourage others to support it as much as possible, or the masses won't hear it. I mean, just like Fine China, I think so too, that was going to be a really big song, but who was supporting it? Who was pushing it? Like, if you like something, you have to push it and encourage your followers, or encourage others, or stream it. But, I mean, I didn't know about streaming and all of that stuff then, or as much as I know now. A lot of, about the requesting and all of that, I didn't know about all of that then.
And actually, I was going to kind of piggyback off of what you just said. I mean, one of the things that I'm hoping Tammy can explain to us is, we did this poll about everybody getting their money ready to buy into a streaming service, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon, or Tidal, because I think, me personally, I think that Pills and Automobiles is going to be just as big as Loyal, just because it has that it's a hot song, and people who are going to be in the clubs are going to want to hear that song, and people want to dance to that song. But I think we need to kind of discuss the best way to get Chris's songs recognition. And I know it is streaming, but if it was a song that I didn't like, I wouldn't buy it. I would just stream it, honestly, because buying it, you can only go back and listen to it over and over again if you don't like that song. But I'm hoping Tammy can explain to us requesting and streaming and the benefits of it, because that's what we really need to be focusing on, knowing that Chris has got a new song. He's got another song that's coming out pretty soon, which is, like everybody's saying, that big hit that is going to be the crossover. And we really need to start coming up with the streaming plan for, you know, Pills and Automobiles with the new song and also the album. Tammy, I know you do a lot with the requesting and stuff, and you also are getting really knowledgeable on the streaming. Can you give us some hints on that, if you could?
Okay. If you buy the song, you can listen to it as much as you want. But once you purchase a song, it does not count as a stream because you purchased it already. Streams are only for free music because before, the only way you can hear a song was if you bought it, right? So that's why they made it fair that, okay, since they have Spotify now and YouTube where you can hear the song for free, then that would be cutting the artist short, because now, you know, people wouldn't buy the song because they can hear the song for free on YouTube or Spotify. So that's why they said, okay, well, we'll count the streams because, you know, people are able to access your music without paying for it. But we'll count it as a sell if they listen to the music without paying for it. So, in other words, the only way with a lot of the streaming, like Apple and I think Spotify, but there's a way to get around Spotify. But with Apple or Amazon Music, Tidal, I think they have free subscription for 6 months. Apple Music has free subscription, a trial for 3 months. If you subscribe to Apple or Tidal or both, you'll get a free subscription. But that's the only way those streams will count, is if you subscribe. If you buy the music, that does not count as a stream. You understand?
Okay, that's really helpful. Yeah.
And what we need to do is let people know, start getting that together now. Okay, we did a poll and 49% said they like Apple Music as a streaming service. Spotify came in second at 45%. And then you had Amazon Music and Tidal. But people need to get that free service now in anticipation for the new singles that came out, the new single that's coming out, and then also the album. And then also what we've been trying to do is create playlists where we put like all the featured songs that Chris did this summer. We have a playlist that we put out, and we tweet it every now and then for people to just listen to that, you know, while they're doing chores or while they're at work. But I think creating a playlist, but also having people subscribe to that free subscription for the first 30 days, having them do that now is going to help with the streaming numbers for Chris, and then they don't have to worry about purchasing that album, because like Tammy said, if you buy that album on iTunes, all you can do is listen to it. You can't stream it. So we got to get the word out to everybody to sign up for one of those 30-day free trial streaming services, and have that be
Apple
the
has
message.
3 months.
Right.
And you can do it, like, for example, I have a different Apple account than I do on my PC, because they ask you, do you want to have the same Apple account or do you want to change it? So you can have more than one, you know, and I just did one yesterday for Pills and Automobiles on my phone. And
Your sound is going out. I'm not
Okay.
sure what. Okay. If you could just say that again.
It's better to subscribe, because when you purchase the song, you can listen to it for as long as you want, but it's only $1.29, and if you stream it, and if you're streaming it nonstop, like overnight or whatever, that can be like 30,000 streams or 20,000 streams. You know what I mean? It can add up to that. So that's how a lot of artists are going platinum, because a lot of them subscribe. So they're getting streams of like 10,000, 20,000 just for one person. So of course that's gonna go, their song will go platinum faster, because you can continuously hit that stream on that song, and it'll keep adding sales opposed to just buying it for $129.
Plus, if you create a playlist, and we're going to continue to create playlists, so when Chris rolls out his albums, we have some true R&B gems like Fine China was. We're going to put that on the playlist along with some of the upbeat songs so that people can hear those songs, because otherwise it's going to be lost like Fine China was. So we could put like a Fine China on a playlist that has all his featured summer songs, and that'll give him more exposure because people are going to be listening to the more popular songs. But we just have to understand the new way to stream music and the impact of it. And sometimes purchasing, that's one way to do it, but the most effective way is to, instead of purchasing, to maybe buy a streaming service or sign up for a streaming service and actually stream the song.
Yeah.
Go ahead, CM.
Yeah.
My thing with, okay, so generally, as a rule, I buy everything. Like, I literally will buy it from my own library, right? I have Apple Music and I have Tidal as subscription. So what I do is I go on Tidal. It's easier to make playlists on Tidal. It's like real easy to make a playlist. But the thing is, like, say it's a song, okay, like this one, like I'm talking about Pills and Automobiles. I am very least likely to stream this song, like as a continual play. But I made sure I bought it, right? So it's like, that's where probably you're going to get the, conflict, whatever you want to call it, as far as like getting the streams up on certain songs or however you want to, lay it out. So that's why, like, I always tell somebody, well, buy the song, regardless, like, buy the song. Because somewhere you put in your support, you know what I mean, your support for the work or whatever. But because if you don't like the song, you're not going to stream it. You're not even going to put it on and just let it play in the background somewhere. Well, a lot of people not, but I'm just saying. So I just tell people all the time, make sure you at least buy it. Like, buy the song and then go from there. With the streaming service. As the streaming service goes, I definitely agree with them that Apple is the best as far as making sure the artist is getting their checks on time and things like that, because I know a few artists, and we talk about this type of stuff all the time, and the first thing they tell me is, please stream on Apple Music. That's where my checks come continuously, and I get everything I'm supposed to get. I'm getting it from there. Because each song is split up, according to percentages and, who's getting what, Chris might get 15% of this Pills and Automobile song, but the rest of them getting, the rest of the percent. I mean, we never know, but I'm just saying. So it's just like, that's how I see it. As far as always, if you can buy it. I know it seems like double, because you bought the song, then you got Apple Music, but hey, if you know it's a song you probably won't stream, just buy the song, support it, give them $1.29 and go on. I bought the song for 99 cents, so I thank God for that, because I was able to get it at 99 cents. and but I didn't put it in any playlist to stream. So it's like that's just just another way of looking at it. I think Tammy is right though. Well, she is right about everything she's saying as far as how it counts and stuff like that. But just from talking to artists and stuff, the Apple is probably going to be your number one place to ensure that they're getting counted and all of that stuff. If you're making playlists on YouTube, you've got to make sure that every video is from, their Vivo account, like that account that's set up for them. Because I know sometimes, you see people make these accounts and they put Vivo on the end, but it's not an official page.
Well,
and then, people are streaming.
That's the question that I had as well. I'm sorry. Because I think it's World Star, one of those, they're streaming privacy and they have like 9 million views. But I don't think that it has to be Chris Brown's Vivo account, because a stream is a stream. Like, just like, we're streaming his music, but we're streaming it from under Chris Brown though, right? So that was my question. I believe anything that's on stream has to go to him because it's his song, right? Whether it's his Vivo account or not.
The reason why I say that is because the only thing that counts, like when they get the Vivo Award and things like this, is the ones that's from their account. All streams. That's why these artists have their official account. Like Dundria, I do a lot of Dundria stuff, and so I had to make sure, like, I put the song on my page, but like she told me, she'll go in YouTube and talk to them. It's got to be her Vivo account, and that's what the stream count. So like when you're tweeting out your artist, tweet out their account, where their stuff
is. If you want to get Vivo certified, but streaming as a general, it has to count as a stream as far as sales. But to be
what about
certified? Yeah,
but what about when the account has like I say, if it's my account, I got 9 million, but they copyrighted it. Are they still getting it? You know how like they'll come and say your video is, it's been hit. Not say a copyright strike, so they leave it up, but they'll say they've claimed, come and claim the copyright or whatever. Now, what does that mean? Will they get my streams then? Because I could be wrong. I'm just trying to.
As far as sales for the song, yeah, but not as a Vivo certified account. No, that's why they want you to take the video off, because you're taking away their numbers for the song to go Vivo certified. But as far as streams, I don't think so. I think anybody can put up like a privacy song. The streams still have to go towards that song.
We need to look up that.
And RCA.
Yeah, we need to look up that.
Okay, so I can give a little bit of clarity. I can give a little bit of clarity on that. So the Vivo certification is for videos. Okay, and that's how all those videos have to come from Vivo account. Even you can still source it from YouTube, but YouTube still goes back to Vivo as the source for the video. Now, as far as like music is concerned, you can pull that from any source like Spotify or wherever you want to pull it from to make your playlist. And in that case, the artist gets paid for it, but it's based on where you pulled it from. So if you take a playlist and create it from Apple, the artist is going to get paid on time and a certain percentage. If you source the music from Spotify pays less money and the artist gets paid maybe on time or maybe not on time, but they don't get paid as much. If you source the music from Pandora, they pay even less. So that's where all that comes into play. For the music, where you source it from, where you actually got the music from. SoundCloud gives the artist even more money, and that's why Chris will put things on SoundCloud, because they get a higher percentage, but then SoundCloud was having some financial issues lately. So it's two separate things. Music, where you get it from. If you want the artist to get their money, you might want to use Apple Music or maybe even SoundCloud. Spotify is great, but Spotify pays less. But for videos, it has to come from Vivo in order for it to be certified. But you can still pull this from YouTube. It just has to have the source video has to come from Vivo.
Okay, no, okay, this is the part I'm talking about. You know how they have the official audio, right? That's what I'm talking about, not the actual video of the song. I probably said it wrong, but you know how like when
Other people copy it.
Yeah, and then they have official. It's on their Vivo page, but it's just the audio, and it'll say official audio. So like stream that audio, and then you know I know that they get their streams from that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They get their money. It counts as sales from that official audio off of their official page. So I'm just trying to understand if it really is. So if I took that video and put it on my page, then you're saying they can still get what they're supposed to have. But if I just uploaded the song, like I downloaded it illegally somewhere, and then I uploaded the song on YouTube, and I got 9 million plays, they're not going to get anything from that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
And the thing about it is they do checks all the time to see if somebody downloaded something illegally, and they'll shut the account off. So they do have some checks and balances, especially on YouTube for copyright infringement. We see it on Instagram as well.
I think this is what she's saying. You know, like how Crystal put up a video, right? But then you'll see 4 other okay, let's say privacy. He has the privacy video up, but then you'll see 3 other like rap.com, World Stars. They'll put up the same video for the same song, and they run up numbers too. So does do they count as streams for Chris? Right. Or the song Privacy, does that count as a stream? Does he get paid from that? That's what we're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because now, like I say, when I talked to Vanguard, she said that it has to be, when she put her music up on YouTube, she's in a partnership with YouTube, so she puts her numbers up on there. Okay, I can take a video and put it on my page, but she said I can get 100,000 streams, but unless like a copyright notice is sent to me, she's not getting any credit from those 100,000 streams that came on my page. So, which is why, you know, you have the checks and balances, like you say. But she, that 100,000 or whatever it was before they came, she got nothing. So that's why I'm trying to see if that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So what happens is normally, a lot of times, either the artist or fans of the artist will report the page if they think that it's downloaded illegally. But we could look into that a little bit more and get some more information and share with you guys. I know, Tammy, you know some of that too, right? On the audio video.
Yeah, they get paid for it. It's a stream. It doesn't matter who put up the video. The only thing they won't get credit for is becoming Vivo certified. The person who got 9 million streams also gets paid, but they're not getting paid for the stream itself. They're getting paid for the hits that they got, which was 9 million. Artists get paid for the song because they got 9 million hits for that artist's song. You understand? It's not their song. It's just that, for example, it's still a stream because it's on YouTube, and it's still for that song Privacy, right? So they get the label and the artist gets paid because someone else is streaming their music, right? The person who put that video up got 9 million hits. So if they have it set up with YouTube, right, they can get paid from that. The only thing is, if those 9 million streams were on Chris Brown's privacy account, then it would add to the 47 million he has already, and he'll have over 50-something million. You see what I'm saying? Working towards 100 million, where he can get VIII certified. So that's the only problem when other people put up videos of your song, is that, you know, people may mistake it for your account and, you know, watch their watch the video under them, and that takes away. Because look, this single, let me see, privacy is what, 47? It's 47, right? So if World Star that has 9 million streams wasn't there, then Chris would have that extra 9 million streams, and he'll already be, what, 56 million. You understand? But they're still getting paid from World Star, regardless.
What she's saying is that it counts towards his sales to be gold or platinum, but the only time it stops him is if he's trying to get VIII certified at 100 million. So that's the difference. He still gets it on his totals to gold and platinum status, but for VIII certified, it has to come from VIII on the video streaming. That's just VIVO's.
And that's why they take it down. That ask them is, you know, copyright infringement, take it down, because you're taking their views away, not that they won't be paid for streaming it or, you know, putting it up there.
Okay, Sade, you wanted to say something?
Oh, yeah. I always wondered, like, specific numbers. With I think they said Spotify, that 1,500 streams of what, 10 songs or one song equals an album sale? Is it just a single? Like, if you stream
It's a
single 1,500 times?
200 for a single. You have to stream a single 200 times, and that would equal one download. So that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's when you subscribe, that's the benefits of subscribing, opposed to just buying a song. Because if you buy the song, you can't stream it anymore. That's it. It's just $1.25. But if you subscribe, if you stream that song 200 times, that will be one download, meaning that purchase, that one purchase that you made, 200 times will equal that one download. But you could, if you stream that song all day, you can get like 1,000 streams. You see what I'm saying?
So here's how the math works, and even though Tammy said 200, but it kind of goes like this. If you stream a song between 150 to 200 times, that equals one purchase, okay?
Right.
If you stream a song 1,500 times, 1,500 times, that equals one album, meaning that one purchase 10 times equals one album, according to what Billboard is saying. Okay, so you could never buy any music, but just stream it, and by you streaming it enough, it's as if you purchased the song one time. You continue to do it for 1,500 times, streaming it, that equals 10 purchases. 10 purchases equals
I don't
one
think
album.
So. I don't think so. I think the album, in order to have an album, it has to be 1,500 streams. Like, that's for albums. Like, it's like,
but the album, but here's what we'll do. We'll get the graphic up that has the breakdown, and we can send that to everybody. We'll also publish it on our Twitter and Instagram account, because it shows the equals to each one, and then that way people will know how important and how much an impact streaming is, because that's where Chris can end up having albums pre-sold off of his single.
Right.
So we'll get there's a graphic that came from Billboard that shows what they use to tally it up, and then it just shows you the impact of streaming. We can put
Because
that.
I needed to know that specifically because I remember seeing maybe like a month or two ago, Forbes had made an article about how his album can like do something massive for streaming. They said something like his 40-song album can do something like massive for streaming. I'll find the link to it because I was like, this is interesting, but I didn't know what it does. Because I always thought like if you listen to that specific single 1,500 times, that will count as one album sale of that specific album. So if he was to put private, Privacy and Party's going to be on the album for a fact, and it's a question mark for Sangrina. Do those streams, if 1,500, if you split those streams of what those three singles accumulated, and you do the whole math dividing, will those be considered pre-sold albums for him when the album drops? Like, will that be included in his first week number?
I think the album, because normally albums have like 15, well, now they have like a lot of albums are either 12 to 16 songs on them, right? So in order, the whole album, it would have to stream 1,500. Like you have to have 1,500 because it's a lot of songs. It's normally 12, right? So it'd have to be 1,500 for one album sold. So that album, the whole album has to stream 1,500 for one album sold.
But that's why they're wondering what's going to happen this time, because a traditional album is anywhere between 10 songs to 16 songs. Chris has 40 songs on there. So if you stream his whole album, technically that's like 3 times a normal album. And that's why they're wondering what kind of impact this 40 album is going to have on the industry.
Okay. Jandy just came in. Jandy, everybody. Jandy just came in.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Hey, hello.
And Sin, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I just had a question about how like Spotify works. So like, let's say you're not like, you didn't purchase their like subscription service or whatever, but you make a playlist on the computer, because I think when you do it on your phone, I think it's something about like the screen size or something like that. Like you can't stream a playlist from your phone, but if you do it on your computer, you can stream that playlist. So do those, like, if you do it from your playlist, do those views like still count, or do you have to buy the service for the streaming to like kick in?
Okay, can someone answer her question? I can't.
So here's what happens with Spotify. If you have the free service, they interrupt your playlist. So say you create a playlist with 15 songs. After every third or fourth song, they're going to interrupt the playlist, and you're going to hear a commercial, and you're probably going to hear another song from a different artist. Because what they're trying to do is push you to buy their paid service so you don't have the interruption. So you'll still get the credits, the song will still get credit, but you might have to listen, say you have a 12-song playlist, you might have to listen to 18 songs and commercials before you get through your playlist. It's not going to be uninterrupted. And that's how they get you to buy this service. Once you buy their premium service, you can hear your playlist from start to finish without interruptions and without other artists' music being added in.
Right. Because I feel like there's a difference.
Count. Yeah, the songs do count though. It's just that it's going to take you probably an hour and a half to get through your playlist, and it might have just taken you 45 minutes to get through your playlist.
All right. I was just saying because like there's a difference from when you use it on your phone and then on your computer, because I think it plays more through your computer, like your playlist plays more. Because when I do it on my phone,
that's right.
It always like they'll play like the song from your playlist and then they'll play somebody else's song. But it's better when you do it on your computer. I think it streams a lot better on the computer if you're using the free service.
Here's the reason why they do that though, because the reason they do that is because everybody's listening to the music on their phone, and they're trying to get those commercials in, and they're trying to get those other artists in that. So when you're at home, most people aren't using their laptops or their computers at home to play music normally. From a percentage perspective, everybody's listening to their music on their cell phone while they're out and about, and they're just trying to get that ad space and get some money off of you. That's why they do that. And they're trying to force you to get that paid service because you're going to probably listen to their music on your phone.
Right. Okay, I was just trying to double check because I'm like, I don't know if it's still going to count because I don't want to just do it and then it's not counting, you know. But if it counts, then yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is what I just found out. I thought that's how it went. Okay, so say it's 1,500 of us, and we're on Heartbreak on the Full Moon album, and we're listening to a song on the album on Apple Music. Okay, but the album, but say we might listen to Privacy on the album 1,500 times. But the thing is, you don't have to stream the entire album fully all the way for it to count as one album. I mean, you know what I'm saying? 1,500 times for it to count. If we're streaming on the actual album, that's why if you stream Privacy, see right now, Privacy, when you go on Apple Music, it's an album. It says album. So you can buy it. It just says like, it don't just say the single, it actually has album. So you stream it you stream it or whatever, and it gets counted. So if you're streaming Heartbreak on the Full Moon, like I say, all of us who listen to it, and it's 1,500 of us, 1,500 people streaming on that album every time that it creates a download, because I'm reading it right here. And basically what it says, if say 1,500 people play Taylor Swift blank space on her 1989 album, then that counts as 1,500 times it counts as one album sale. You see what I'm saying? So if it's a song, but it's on the album, like you can go on Apple Music and just go to like just Privacy, or you can go to Heartbreak on a Full Moon. If you're listening to it in that playlist, you see what I'm saying? So you don't have to think you have to go from number 1 to number 40 and then it's counting like that. 1,500 people streaming songs on Heartbreak on a Full Moon, it's going to equal album sale.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be one, like, it doesn't have to be you streaming that song 1,500 times. It's like the song just in general has to be streamed at least 1,500 times for it to be counted as an album sale.
As an album sale. Oh, yeah.
Right. So you don't have to be the one, like it's not just you.
Yeah, it's not just No, it's not just you. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yes, combined.
But that's why we keep saying it's streaming is so important, and that's why Tammy always wants everybody to call in and request and stream. All of us have an impact on his quote unquote sales of albums because those singles are considered album singles. So we as a group are adding to his sales, but individually as we stream privately, we also adding to it as well when we listen to the whole album. That's why Tammy was saying streaming is so important, because everybody has an impact on his sales.
Because the reason why I said that is because at first I didn't know that if you purchase the song, you can't stream it. I didn't know that. And I was on, I purchased it on Amazon because, is it Amazon? Amazon Music shows, it's Amazon and Apple. Spotify doesn't. But Amazon and Apple show each time you play the song. So it shows you how many times you played that song. So you'll know, you can actually tally how many streams or how many times you played it. And I had 30,000, but I bought the song so they don't count as streams. You know, I mean, I didn't get it. I got 30,000 in over like 2.5 months. But that was just 30,000 from one person. You see what I'm saying? So if you add that, how many album sales is that, right? That'd be 1,500 into 30,000, right? And that's just for one person, opposed to just buying the album. You see what I'm saying? So
it almost. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, if you bought the song, like I bought Pills and Automobiles, when I go into my Apple Music, as long as I don't listen to it from my library, but listen to it from Apple Music, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm just saying it's still a way to do. You can do both, but I do see what she's saying there. 30,000 streams, but it depends on where did you listen. If you listen to it in your library after you bought it, then you're right. But if you listen to it, since you got the Apple Music service, it was counted. You see what I'm saying?
That's the whole thing she's saying. The whole thing she's saying is you're going to have to get a service. You're going to have to get Apple Music, or you're going to have to get Spotify paid or something, because if you don't have Apple Music, all you're doing is listening to it in iTunes, which you already paid for. So she's saying you're going to have to pay for a service eventually.
Well, in 3 months with Apple, 6 months with Tidal. But if you want to pay for it, but you'll have 3 months to stream the album, because I think the album will probably be out probably September. So if you were, unless you just want to wait until to start a service when the album drops, it depends on the person, and then they can start their 3 months there. I know everybody can't afford to, pay $9.99 every month, or want to pay an additional $9.99. So it's up to you. Like, if you get 3 months and Heartbreak on a Full Moon drops, then you can start your subscription there, and then you have 3 months, and then after that you can cancel if you want, or if you want to continue, you can pay the $9.99 if you have it.
I think we'll do like it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But my whole point was, if 1,500, if it only takes 1,500 streams, but if it only takes 1,500 streams, I'm not sure if it's just on one song that makes it an album. I think it has to be. I'm not sure about that, but if it's 1,500 streams off the album, that makes it one album sold, then I had 30,000. You see what I'm saying?
On Rolling Stone, that's the way they said it. Like, if 1,500 people listening to 1989, her album, but say we may all, like you said, but say 1,500 people, he named Blank Space as one of the songs. But everybody's listening to the album. So that song already done hit 1,500 times, then that's an album sale. But you got to get on the album now. Right. So one of the other things was with YouTube, it says that it's up to the copyright owner and the artist or whatever. So she's right about that. So say if WorldStar has privacy, up or whatever, just the audio, and they got 9 million hits on it, and Chris and RCA or whoever owns it, they can make a deal and say, okay, well, we want royalties from this album. From this thing. Don't take it down, but we want royalties. Then it's like they get the money. You know what I'm saying? They get like a percentage of that money, from those hits. So yeah.
WorldStar, if they have it hooked up with YouTube, still gets paid from YouTube because they got 9,000 hits. It's just like the blogs when they put up VIII. Every time you hit that blog, they get paid. They get paid on hits. So that's why WorldStar would want to put up privacy or anybody else's video, because the more hits they get, they make money from that. They don't make money from the actual source or the product that they're putting on the making a video of. They make it on hits.
They said it's the ads. Yeah, they're saying that it's the ads, like the ads that are on there. They said that the copyright owner may put ads on the video and monetize it for them.
Right.
So because basically it says, if somebody put up a wacky video listening to Chris Brown Forever, Brown and his record label can agree to cover the thing with ads and take a cut of the royalties. And they said, because this happened with somebody who put up a video with Harlem Shake. So everybody who has copyright ownership of it got royalties from that video that person put up with that song in it.
Okay, Jandy, I don't know if you wanted to chime in I guess you can tell we're talking about the whole idea of streaming, and we've kind of talked about pills and automobiles, and so that's sort of an offshoot of that. I don't know if you want to add to it.
Yeah, I guess that was just kind of, I think y'all answered some of the questions I had about that. I guess my biggest thing is how are they counting this on YouTube? Because, like,
the same way. The same way.
Like, these numbers just don't, like, it just seems like it is crawling on those numbers. And I'm like, who is doing the counting on that? So, I don't know. I don't know how they count that. I think I had seen at one point, if you hit replay, then it doesn't count as another hit or whatever. I don't know if that's true.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I've heard that if you're streaming it from your YouTube account, that it doesn't count. But if you're, I don't really know. I think anytime you hit that video account, it has to count regardless what you're doing because it's a stream. I don't think it really matters if you know, whenever it gets a hit, it has to count.
Hey, Paula, did you want to talk about it on the video playlist that you created? Because I think you have the answer to that, don't you, Paula?
Yes, we also made a playlist, or not a playlist. We made a listen on repeat. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's legal. Mm-hmm. It's not a bot. You can have the video on repeat, and I have thousands on privacy because I did one for that one. I tweeted periodically, but as long as it's being played, especially from beginning to end, there is a cutoff. I think you can watch it a certain number of seconds, maybe 30, and that still counts as a view. But mostly they expect you to play it all the way through. But Listen on Repeat plays it constantly. I just have at least one. I have one window in each browser, but when we're really on a drive. But most of the time, I just have one browser open with that playing, and in a day it could be like 600 views for that one video. So yeah, repeating it does count. It does count.
Okay. Okay. And are they gonna, when the album actually comes out, they are gonna like go back and all the singles that have been out, they're gonna count all these streams for like actual album sales, right? Like total, like to make the whole album itself, like obviously it's gonna go platinum, we're gonna see that. Right. But they will count like all that towards the final, like when they say Heartbreak on a Full Moon has reached platinum status or whatever, right?
Right, because again, as CM said earlier, the singles themselves, like Privacy, in Apple are indicated as being album songs, not singles, like CM said earlier. Okay. So I think the thing is what Tammy's been saying the whole time. We just need to get the word out for people to pick a streaming service trial membership. And I was hoping maybe, CM, you said you have Apple Music and you said you have Tidal. Can you tell us the differences in prices and packages between Tidal and, say, Apple Music, please?
Yes. So, to me, Apple Music is just got a little bit of everything. I paid $10.49, I think it is, a month. And you can also get like a family subscription as well for like $12.99. And I think it's up to three lines or something like that. With Tidal, I like Tidal as listening quality because that high def sound, all of that is way better than Apple. But it's $12.95 a month for Tidal. I think they had a special though, where you could get it like 3 months for $9.99, but I'm not sure if that's still going on right now. So it just depends on what you're looking for. With Tidal and with Apple Music, I got Tidal basically to keep up with exclusive stuff that would drop there first. But quality-wise, Tidal is better as in the sound, but I think Apple Music has a better overall selection and things like that. But the prices are $10.49 a month, and then $12.95 a month with Tidal.
Now, CM, let me ask you a question though. If you're streaming Apple or you're streaming Tidal on your phone, do you notice any significant differences between the two if you're doing it on your phone?
You mean like in sound or what? Like,
yeah, like sound quality and all that.
That's definitely in my car, on my phone, at home, on my Bose speaker. You can, like, it's a lower type. I can tell the difference, period. I mean, it's not even, to me, it's not even a question. The high def on Tidal is A1 sound quality. Apple Music has good quality, but when I listen to the two, I can tell a major difference. So that's the reason, another reason I kept Tidal. So yeah, and another thing with my Apple Music, and Tammy can tell me if she knows another way. Like the playlists I have are what I created on my computer, because I got like the cloud, so all of my stuff is like in there like that. So when I'm listening from the phone, I can listen to playlists from my home or whatever. But I can't make a playlist, my own playlist on Apple. Like I can go through and get their playlist and download it and listen like that, but I can't create my own playlist on Tidal. I can't.
You can't
So,
on
I don't
Apple.
know.
You can't.
I
You're
don't know
saying
how to. Tammy knows how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
You're saying on
I've
Apple
tried.
you can't make your own playlist, like of
Right,
different
like
songs?
I can't. Right, like I can't go into the app and then create a playlist. Like now, all of my playlists are the playlists I've made on my computer at home, so I'm able to listen that way. But just go in and make it my own playlist. If you can, I don't know how to do it. I've tried and tried. I've Googled, and I have not found a way to create my own playlist inside of this app. So,
But it
like I said,
it asks you on Apple. Like you can make your own playlist on Apple. You can make several of them. I mean, Apple is really good. You can even I mean, when I first got Apple, which was a couple of years ago, I wasn't subscribing then, but I was downloading from like illegal music to Apple. I mean, into my playlist because, well, actually, it was going to my computer because I have Apple, it automatically goes into Apple.
right. But those playlists, okay, like right now it says new playlist. Okay, I can click new playlist.
Right.
I'm trying to see where to add the music. Boom! It's right. Oh, okay, I see it now. I promise y'all, I did not know that. Hey, okay, now it says add music. Damn! Thank you. Guys, I'm telling you, I've had Apple Music since the day it was introduced. And the only playlist was the ones from my library that I could play. I did not know how to create my own, but I know now. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That works perfectly. Okay.
We're all learning something today. Everybody's learning something.
Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful.
Well, I hope you join us again.
Thank you guys for coming up with this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody have a great weekend, okay?
Till next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode, and we hope you'll join us again at the Vanguard.